Hey everyone, Fatty from Pack a Punch Traders. Just gonna go over my horrible trade today. First, let's go over the one that I missed on GFAI. Both were out of the watch list. SOUN was the one I butchered. GFAI here, an incredible move. Just missed it. Focus on another play, and then pretty much just stopped looking at the market for the day. But here we are. Multi-day bounce right out of the watch list. Recent runner, AI play. Just a perfect setup. We got the huge run up, the pullback, the hold, and today it didn't take super long to set up, but was a little choppy at first. But this is what we're looking for. You get the high set in the morning, and then it has a little bit of consolidation, proves that it's failing to break down. Instead of making new lows, it holds up, holds a VWAP, and comes back for the high day break. And then after that, takes a little time to consolidate, pretty much half an hour. But then after that, it just peels off and just heads straight to the 50s. And here after hours is breaking out. We got 59 cents being the multi-day breakout level. And here we are breaking through that. So we'll see if this has what it takes tomorrow to keep pushing higher, if it can keep uptrending and bringing in volume. But you can see we're just trying to spot the differences in the way it's been acting on the way down compared to the day of, trying to spot the dip buy. So as you can see, past couple days just heading lower, heading to new lows, VWAP holding it down as resistance, and that's the same thing for yesterday, except yesterday it barely broke down. It broke down to new lows, but not by much, and that was pretty encouraging, especially looking at the day before, still held that bottom, so technically a higher low. And then today, just a little minor gap up. That's nice to see, as well as the failure to push lower, held red green at the open. And yeah, from there, it's really everything we talk about. A little bit more demand coming in, failing to push lower, not much selling pressure going on, holding VWAP in higher lows, and the hold of that high is really the key. And that was the same deal for SOUN, except I totally messed this up. Um, Here I took this in the low 370s. I forgot exactly what the average was. I think it was 374. We got the initial break here at 372, and then we got a nice little pop. Let me zoom this in actually. So you get a quick little dip, and it comes right back. And this is why my attention was on this. I saw the uh, bounce back to open price, and that's why I focus on this over GFAI. I just kind of gambled between the two. I figured one of these is going to either be a strong mover. They're both great setups. One of them already broke out and is still trying to hold the high. This one was still setting up to break the high. So I took the one that was still earlier in the process, thinking, okay, maybe could get a better angle, considering the other one was, I believe, up nearly 10% by the time it was getting to 37 cents or so. Uh, but yeah, that's why I chose this one. Uh, Very frustrating. So I get a little starter here, 400 shares, nothing wild, nice pop, looking good so far. We're just waiting for it to come back for the ad, and I was pretty confident in the fact that it was gonna come back. Was it just had a pretty aggressive push from 350 to the 390s, and it was pretty vertical. So figured around pre-market highs, around whole dollar, half dollar area of 4, might need to pull back a little bit, and that happens. I'm able to get an ad pretty close here, right around VWAP 74. Um, so another 400, so my average was 73. Then from there, I'm thinking, okay, this is setting up nicely. We get the higher low, holds 380, which is what was that? Oh, I'm thinking of a different play then. 380 was a key level for a different ticker. But still, confirms the 368 open price, confirms that 370, 372 high, and held VWAP. So I'm thinking less time for the rip. And then it just gets stuffed at 4, and it has a choppy time there. I go through this nasty pullback. That's when I start getting a little antsy. And then I try to give this time, and it just can't break 4 to save its life. So I grew impatient and sold it at 394. And, just my emotions. I could have stuck to it and waited for my stop to get pushed through and executed, but I just didn't. And I pay the price. If I gave it more attention, it pulled back. Was not perfect with holding 370, but at the same time, we're looking at price levels as a range, not just a specific price. It's okay if it gets down below it a little bit, but as you can see here, it doesn't convincingly crack, which is good, and it starts making higher lows. And I had completely missed it, taken off my attention, off my radar. I was kind of frustrated with how it's set up, so I just ignored everything midday. The gappers were not that strong today either, so I decided to just sit on my hands, take my quick, what was it, like $150 or so. Um, so just frustrating. It was a choppy move overall, but it just held each level perfectly, kept making higher lows, held the key areas, and I paid the price by ignoring it. And here we are, it broke out, breakout levels in the mid fours, and here we are above that. So another play that could set up for tomorrow. But yeah, two solid plays, both from the watch list. Completely butchered one, and the other one just missed. So let's get into tomorrow's top plays. We got some more multi-day bounces. SECO. This one not too bad. Almost set up nicely, but not a bunch of volume. But held up well. Still, even after it failed here, it still never really broke down and went to new lows. So that's why I am confident that this could be a pretty solid play for tomorrow. Who knows if this is going to get back to 5 and head past that. Usually the multi-day bounce, as we talk about, on average 30% from previous close. Oh, this is a 380. I was thinking previous close. I was looking at this one. But yeah, so we got a close of 365 times 0.3 plus 3.65. So it should get to just under the breakout level. It should top out in the high fours, around 475. And this is still holding up. So I'm kind of digging this for a possible multi-day bounce, setting up for tomorrow. I didn't go over the daily chart on SOUN. Here's that. Solid push. Got the red candle. Shorts were in control. Failed to break down. And we got short covering and dip buyers coming back. This is also an AI play. Same thing with SECO. This one, I believe, only had some news on it. Nothing significant. What was it? Interesting. Okay, whatever. But this is the setup. Regardless of the news, as long as we don't have bad news, that won't kill the play now. Usually for the multi-day bounce, I don't like when bad news comes out. Just kills the momentum. So, got the strong push. We got a little bit of a pullback, and so far still failing to break down. Very light volume right now, so if it can keep holding up on this kind of volume, if demand comes back, I'm thinking we've got higher prices ahead. So SECO, multi-day bounce. Same with BBBY, recent runner. I got crushed. Now pushing lower. Let's see here. If this can load. Huge run up, complete failure. I forgot what the news was here. I don't think it was like an offering or anything, so it wasn't. Oh, it was? Okay. Okay, that changes things. I could have sworn it was. Oh, this is today. This is today. Okay, okay, okay. What's the price? That kind of does matter. Alright, I'll still have it on watch because I know a lot of other people have got this on watch. Like, even for a selling day, this is some strong volume. Uh, so I will keep it on radar. I know I just talked about bad news, so I will keep this in the back of my mind, but might not be my favorite. So far, it won't be my favorite out of the top plays unless it proves otherwise. We really are following the momentum with this play. So if this says who cares about the offering, fantastic. Let's hold around 250, key area psychologically, and then let's get a burst back into the low threes. So we'll see what this can offer. It is way off of the highs. Is due for a bounce. We'll see how the news affects it. But I'm thinking it does have right now enough eyes on this and shorts in this thing to where if it does have a hard time pushing lower, it still might trigger the bounce. So I'll keep this on watch, but more at the back of my mind. Then we got GFAI, as we talked about, possible breakout. If it can continue to hold up, this is pretty excessive demand. I don't know how sustainable this is, but if it can prove itself to hold up, fail to break down, continue to hold around 60, 59-ish, where the breakout level is, just that zone, maybe comes back, holds 55, then confirms and comes back. So whichever way it sets up, we're looking for that region to hold up, but we will have to see some strong demand coming in because it did nearly 100 million today. I don't know how sustainable that is. It is a cheaper play, so people are buying more shares of the play, but we'll just see tomorrow how it shapes up. I am definitely more focused on the multi-day bounces. Like VINO pushed lower again today. Incredible move, $1.50 to 6. And now we're back trying to hold 2 and didn't convincingly break down. That is nice to see. Right around whole dollar, half dollar area, as well as yesterday's low around 205. So it really does look like sellers are having a hard time pushing this lower and lower. If we can compare the lows here around 260 these 2 days, and then from 260 it goes down to 204, but after 204 here it's still holding around 190, not much lower. So this does look like it has a bit going for it. It looks like it's due for a bounce, low float, and lighter selling pressure here as it tries to push lower. All looking like good indicators for a possible setup for the bounce play. LIXT, another one that had a monster move, and now 50% off the highs or so. Let's see here. Okay, no bad news so far. That's good to see. Lower float off of the highs, coming back down to the low ones. Let's see how this sets up. As usual, we got a few good examples to reference if you want to study how to enter these plays. I always talk about that high daybreak after some consolidation, but we really do have. So we got Lucy from the other day. We got the failure to break down. This one took a little bit longer to develop, just like how did today. Wow, I'm really forgetting it. SOUN. So you got that high daybreak, comes back down, confirms, then you get the rip. We got SOUN. That should be fresh in mind now. Fails to break down. Then this one a little bit choppy, but still, general direction is going to be upwards. You get the bounce. Then you got GFAI. All of them, they look pretty similar with the entry. Even if they have a little bit of a deviation with how it sets up, you can still tell that high a day after a little bit of consolidation is a great opportunity. And if you're scared to buy it right away, wait for the dip buy. Wait for the confirmation. It might not come back all the way down to the initial high and confirm that area. But as you can see here, this one held up at 38 and it held VWAP. So it doesn't have to be perfect, just holds the region. Just shows that momentum is shifting in general. Then we got GSUN. This one just took off. Same deal. Just looking for that confirmation of the high break. And if it keeps uptrending, once volume really comes back, you start ripping. So yeah, those are the multi-day bounces. Let's see. Now we got IVDA, possible breakout. Still holding up around the low twos. I would like to see more volume. Don't want this thing, you're getting after a solid rip or reaching a place where it's having a hard time breaking right now, 220 or so, and volume is fading. So that can either be topping action, or if it, we'll have to wait for the confirmation, it could be indication that, okay, this is still holding up and volume is fading. So it's got low energy behind it, but it's still able to hold near key prices. So then I'm thinking shorts could really get squeezed once they come back to the 220s. It confirms that area, which is a key level multi-month as well. In August, they had a top there. So the low twos, significant area. Right now, volume is fading, but still holding up. We'll have to wait and see for demand to really come back. We're not trying to predict plays happening. We're just trying to bank off of the move that's setting up. And right now, this is, it could go either way. It's got some conflicting factors, and we'll stay on the sidelines until it's more one-sided. APRN, last one here. We got a multi-day breakout over 160. Does have history. I was going to say this thing looks choppy and slow, but we do have history here, early 2020, of it ripping. So just keep an eye on it. Look for the confirmation of the breakout and demand to come back. So yeah, we'll just wrap it there. I don't want to ramble too much and let this thing get to a 20-minute video. I hope it's not that already. So those are the top plays. Saw how to trade the multi-day bounce, as well as how to butcher it with emotions. So stick to the stop loss that you set, and if it doesn't get executed, stick to it, because as long as it holds up with a multi-day bounce, that could be an indication of a reversal and momentum shifting, which could lead to further spiking, as we saw with SOUN, as well as GFAI when it failed to break down. I know it was a bit higher up, not where we would be entering, but still gives the lesson on, I guess, the momentum, the tug of war of this game, where you get the huge rip, but it doesn't completely fail. Keeps holding up, chops around, keeps making higher lows. Once it figures out which direction it wants, it starts pushing a bit more aggressively in that direction. So yeah, I don't know. I'm tired. It's getting late. I just finished a workout and I'm exhausted. So I'll catch you all later. Have a great night. Had a pretty good watch list yesterday, so let's see if we get another good one tomorrow. Got some good plays setting up.